Well, howdy, friends and floor heads. We did a 12-episode play of Dead Planet for Mothership back in 2021. That's 4 years ago. Now, to this day, it is one of the most popular actual plays still on the channel. Over 30,000 people have watched episode 1 of Dead Planet. So our return to Mothership is long overdue. Now, I've spent the last 4 years looking for another scenario that would be perfect for this channel. And thanks to my good friend Z, I found it with VR Dead. This is going to be a zine that's available from Exalted Funeral. It is written by Daniel Hollinan. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Daniel. And it's quite a ride, and I cannot wait to get on. So one thing I will say, please, please, please take the content warning for this play seriously. We may encounter some gruesome stuff as we play through this. If this is not your thing, then just be careful. Be careful watching. All of our players have safety tools in place. We have done lines and veils, and they also have an X card that's always available to them. What's great about that is that means I can go hard, knowing that at any point that they can pull the parachute and say that enough is enough, Craig. Well, let's find out what the hell this is all about after the opening video.
Attention, brave viewers. What you're about to witness is not for the faint of heart. This video features adults immersed in a spine-chilling horror RPG experience. The content likely includes supernatural elements, horror-related events, and potentially scenes of violence. Fear not, for the players have set in place safety tools and discussed the boundaries of their journey into the unknown. But brace yourself, for the shadows hold secrets that may haunt your dreams. Proceed with caution. You have been warned. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy.
As normal, we're just going to get started. Friends, Mergen's Watch is everything you imagined it would be when you first got this assignment. It's a sanctuary among the stars. Mergen's is a research station orbiting a large gas giant. It is well funded, respected, clean, and unique in a galaxy of grit and grime. The station's corridors are pastel-colored and pristine, with soft amber lighting that create a sense of calm. The technology is state-of-the-art and on the cutting edge of leveraging virtual reality for scientific research and discovery. Plush seating lines the lounge areas, and the faint aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingles with the station's system's ever-present hum. Every corner feels thoughtfully designed to make life here as comfortable as possible. The equipment is state-of-the-art and well-maintained, just like the station. And the four of you have been here for weeks, but at this point it almost feels like home. The viewports throughout the station offer a stunning view of the gas giant. Its rich and valuable gases and molecular compounds make it the perfect target for the type of research that happens here at Mergen's Watch. Now, recently, there have been minor disruptions that have shaken the station's everyday tranquility. Lights occasionally flicker, doors sometimes misbehave, and gravity has been known to falter just long enough to turn a morning coffee run into an impromptu juggling act. There's a new ban on the use of VR systems after they started causing strange and unsettling dreams among the crew. Then there are the data ghosts. Curious, swirling clouds of red-tinted digitized mist that seem to emerge alongside the malfunctions. Everything points to these ghosts potentially causing these technology failures. They drift through the station like elusive phantoms, always retreating when approached. Though no one knows precisely what they are, they've become an intriguing mystery, sparking as much jokes as conversations among the crew. The station has full faith that Luke, the station captain and caretaker, will take care of the ghost quickly so work can continue. I'm going to take us to Floor 1, Engineering 3. It's a shuttle bay. The shuttle bay of Mergen's watch hums with a quiet, reassuring energy. Everything echoes against the clean, high metal ceilings. The overhead lights cast a soft, even glow, reflecting off the spotless metal decking polished by years of meticulous care. The faint scent of machine oil and ozone lingers in the air, blending with the clean, filtered atmosphere of the station. A sleek and well-maintained shuttle rests on the landing struts, its hull warm to the touch from recent use. Bex, a teamster who has already made a name for themselves as a skilled pilot and mechanic, works under the shuttle, attending to an engine behind the open panel in the shuttle's hull. Now, Lena, a maintenance tech who wears her unique bright yellow jumpsuit, is handing Bex tools as they call for them. Question for you, Bex. Lena has been following you around like an adopted puppy since you got here. She has never quite explained why she insists on wearing this unique yellow jumpsuit instead of the standard engineering coveralls. Have you figured it out yet, why she insists on wearing it?
No, I just assume that's her favorite color. If it makes her feel cute, go for it.
So as you start calling for tools, Lena's doing her best. She kind of messes up here and there. She just doesn't understand all of this as well as you do. She's handing them to them as you're working on the shuttle. And you hear footsteps. And you kind of turn over and look, and you see Paul. Now, Paul is somebody you've interacted with a lot. He's the head of engineering, and he walks up to you, and he looks like he's in his late 20s, and he showcases a youthful appearance that kind of belies his position as the head of engineering. He smiles, his messy sandy hair framed by round John Lennon-like glasses. He hands you, Bex, a wrench from the tool cart, and he turns to Lena and he goes, Lena, Bex asked for a 34 torque wrench, not a 32. Maybe if you wore the mandated mechanic's uniform instead of that yellow eyesore, you would get this right. And Bex, I gotta say, you keep up like this, and we might have an opening for an assistant.
Well, I can't say no to the comfy bed.
Now, it would entail you flying the shuttle out less. I would need you more here on the station. Is that something you're okay with?
We could negotiate that, I'm sure.
Oh, so it's about money?
Guys gotta eat.
I now want to cut to floor 2, the habitation section. We're in the station gym. Now, the gym in the habitation section of Mergen's Watch showcases design and utility, creating a space where form meets function in almost perfect harmony. High-density rubber matting lines the floor, absorbing every footfall and the occasional dropped weight with a soft, muted thud. In one corner, sleek zero-G adaptive treadmills hum quietly. Their surfaces subtly adjusted to each step. Weight machines with precision-calibrated resistance systems gleam under bright, full-spectrum lighting. The cool, crisp air carries the faint scent of disinfectant and exertion, as the station's meticulous climate control keeps everything fresh. In the far corner, a large therapeutic mini pool awaits you. Now, Security Sergeant Robles, Security Sergeant Robles, you spot Officer Davis, and he's doing a chest lift, and you're making sure he doesn't hurt himself. Over the last week, despite their rank and age differences, the two of you have kind of kindled a bit of a friendship and become workout partners. Now, Davis is trying a new personal best weight, and Robles is making sure he doesn't hurt himself as you spot the bar. Now, Davis is one of the many security officers here on Mergen's watch, and for some reason, they all call each other Robbies. I've got a question for you. Davis looks up to you. Do you know why?
I think it's because of my history, of which I don't speak, and my age difference. He can look up to my experiences.
So he's struggling. He's trying. This is his personal best, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it.
I'm here, man. I'm here. You can do this.
Okay. And with a little bit of your help, the bar gets back up on the rack. He gets up and he has a towel and he starts wiping his head, and he's a handsome young man. A little bit taller than you, but not nearly as strong. And is just, he doesn't have quite the presence that you have. And he goes, "Damn, Sarge, how is it that you're more than a decade older than me, but you have no trouble lifting that kind of weight?"
Practice and experience, son. Practice and experience.
Are you like, how about supplements? Like, do you like have a drink or something, or is there pills or?
No, son, this is all natural.
I want to cut to the third floor, laboratory section, the astronomy lab. The astronomy lab of Mergen's watch buzzes with discovery, illuminated by the cool glow of data screens and the soft hum of high-powered instruments. A vast floor-to-ceiling viewport commands the room, revealing a view of the gas giant's swirling storms. We have clusters of workstations teamed with focused scientists who are reviewing live telemetry, adjusting spectral analysis settings, and poring over both digital and hand-drawn astral maps pinned to the walls. Holographic projections flicker between data sets, casting faint halos of light across the room. Quiet conversations fill the air, punctuated by the occasional beep of an instrument or the click of a stylus against a tablet. Here, at the cutting edge of exploration, science and wonder converge, and every discovery pushes the frontier of understanding just a little bit further. We see Dr. Brundle in a heated discussion with Dr. Elias Crow, the head of research. Like Dr. Brundle, Dr. Crow is wearing a lab coat, but his has head of research Mergen Station embroidered on it. Question for you, Dr. Brundle. Crow doesn't hand out compliments, especially to you. How have you figured out that he respects your work?
I think really because I try to come at things from unexpected directions. I'm not going to retread, and I really want to juggle traditional thinking.
All right, look, Brundle, I go over it one more time, because I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand how you got here.
Okay. Well, let's maybe take it back to some principles. If you remember, I think it was Professor Kettlewell's 13th paper on the topic. Somewhere around the midsection around that, there was a table that explained a lot of the connections that I'm drawing here. So.
Right, but you honestly think that we have an entirely new element in the atmosphere out there that we have never seen before?
Until we can match it to something we have seen before. That's the leading hypothesis.
So you can kind of tell by looking at him, Brundle, that I think you've already kind of gone over his head. I don't think he got that reference, but he's trying to cover that up. He's giving you the nod, the knowing nod, but you've worked with Crow long enough to go that, all right, again, I have exceeded his knowledge. But I think you're doing a pretty good job of covering it up for him. Now, the two of you are interrupted. Emma, the station doctor, approaches the two of you. Her cascading red hair and kind eyes capture your attention. She glances at her data pad, clears her throat, and teasingly goes, Dr. Brundle, did you forget about something this morning? Maybe an appointment in med bay? Your physical with an overqualified doctor who looks a lot like me?
Terribly sorry, Doctor. I had some things to tend to.
We have to run these tests, and it has to be every week. I require all the crew to do this, and just because you're new doesn't make you exempt. Don't you agree, Dr. Crow? Yes, of course. And he keeps brushing his big bushy gray hair.
Well, when is your next appointment? And I'll make sure to be there.
When are you going to finish up here?
I just look at Dr. Crow to see if he's saying, yeah, leave.
He goes, yeah, wrap it up here. We've got the all hands meeting that Luke called for. So Emma, would it be all right if Brundle came to you after that? She goes, as long as he doesn't forget. And she kind of looks at you.
Well, I think it's easy to ignore her when she's not there, but she's looking at me and I mentally commit to, very well.
Do I need to write it down for you? And she grabs the pen out of your little corner pocket.
No, that's quite embarrassing. He probably flushes. I'll be there.
Let's cut
5 minutes early.
She nods and kind of gives you a bit of a smirk. Let's go to the second floor of Mergen's Watch, the recreation section of the station, specifically the game room. Now, the game room of Mergen's Watch buzzes with warmth and camaraderie. The soft clatter of pool balls echo, off-duty scientists and 2 security guards erupt in a battle of supremacy on the foosball table. Their uniforms are loosened and their shoulders are relaxed. An off-duty security officer, Robbie, is about to lose his second chess game to a much younger data scientist. You see, this is the place where the crew can unwind and unplug from data streams and mission logs. EY0RE, known as Eeyore, or sometimes just E on the station, is playing one of the pool tables in the corner. You're practicing your opening break for 9-ball. Something that you have become very focused on is how good can I get to this? Your movement is very smooth, measured and practiced. We see the soft tip of the stick strike the white cue ball, and 4 balls find their pockets. Watching you is Dr. Victor Peak. He's a charming AI scientist at the station. He's wearing his signature blue-rimmed glasses and bow tie. He's going to approach you, Eeyore, and as the break sinks 1, 4, and the 6 and the 8 balls into separate pockets, he kind of gives you a little bit of a wink. I've got a question for you, Eeyore. Dr. Peak always strikes up conversations with you and claims he's never worked with an EY0 before. What about your model line makes him so interested in you?
It would probably be the programming in this model. I actually am able to inflect my voice more closely to humans to make conversation less unsettling.
So he's been berating you and trying to talk you into playing on the scientist team in the 9-ball tournament this coming weekend. And after he kind of winks at you, he kind of just shakes his head a little bit and he goes, come on, Eeyore, you do not want to play for the security team. Just join the scientist team. I'll be your partner, and there's just no way they can win.
But the Robbies have said they will make me an honorary Robbie if I'm on their team.
I will get you a lab coat, and we'll have your name embroidered on it. And trophies. We have trophies.
I do not need a trophy, and I already have this lovely patch. It's not my moniker that's used here, but I was told that loner is an acronym for something.
You hear a bit of static. And Eeyore, you've been on the station long enough, everybody has, to know that little bit of static means Vani is about to appear. And she does. You see, in a dazzling burst of pixels and sparkles, Vani materializes out of thin air. She's a holographic corporate AI host on Mergen's watch. Small projectors are hidden everywhere on the station, allowing her to appear whenever and wherever she wants. She's an anime-style animation of a young woman with an exaggerated large eyes. She has 2 long, furry bunny ears that part her long, bouncy brown hair. Striking an exaggerated pose with one hand on her hip and the other throwing up a dramatic peace sign, her oversized eyes shimmer with excitement. Her long bunny ears twitching playfully, she clasps her hands together, bouncing on her toes like an eagle schoolgirl, and she looks to both of you.
Hoppin', hey, Eeyore and Dr. Victor! Wow, I am so excited to see you. Tell me. Are you having the time of your life here on Mergen's watch? I mean, you should be, because I work super hard to make sure everyone is having an absolute blast. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Neither of you have graced my legendary karaoke night. Unacceptable! Do I need to beg? Do I need to sing a sad, tear-jerking ballad about being abandoned? Please come tonight. Eeyore, you must have a beautiful voice.
I do not believe that is in my programming, Bonnie, but maybe I will join you if you stop looking so sad.
She does a kind of a potty, like a pouting thing, and then she does her little clap like this, and then she waves, and just that static sound happens again, and it goes away. Everybody in the station always centers on Vani whenever she appears. She's unsettling, but earnest, and you can tell that she was programmed to truly bring joy to the station, but she's a little bit of a try-hard. Now, just as the conversation is about to restart about which team you need to play with, we hear a familiar chime, which means an announcement is about to go station-wide.
Good evening, crew of Mergen's Watch. It's another day of productivity and advancement. This is a friendly reminder. In 10 minutes, Captain Luke has called for a mandatory station-wide meeting in the mess hall. He will provide an update on the recent minor malfunctions and the curious data ghost anomalies. Your presence is essential, and your insights are always valued. Please wrap up your current tasks and make your way to the mess hall immediately. As always, thank you for your dedication to the station.
Let's cut to the mess hall. Now, the 4 of you arrive, and though the 4 of you didn't know each other before, you know each other now. And over the past several weeks, I think each of you have kind of become a team. And maybe it's because you're the 4 newest people on the team. Everybody is kind of quiet. There's murmuring. Everybody kind of goes in their little cliques at all the different tables here in the mess hall. There's a huge viewport looking out over the gas giant. While everybody's waiting for Luke to show up, Paul comes to the table. Bex, is it all right if I sit with your friends here?
Sure. Pull up a seat, I guess, so to speak.
And you can see him kind of looking around and almost like he's counting, trying to make sure that about 125, 130 crew people are all in here. You could tell by how crowded it is that everybody is anxious. All of this talk about the malfunctions, these weird data ghosts, everybody's just got kind of a feeling that Luke has an announcement to make about that situation. And of course, Paul's been in the middle of all of it, Bex, but he doesn't really like to talk about it. But he sits down. So what's everybody been working on?
Yeah, E, are you ready for the tournament? And I'm sitting next to him. Do a little shoulder jostle.
You know I can't play. No, like literally. Oh, you're talking to Eeyore. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to Paul.
Well, I was able to get my opening shot clear enough to hit 4 balls into the pocket. However, I was rudely interrupted before this announcement. My goal is to get 5.
I think you're doing great. But you've seen me play.
You're adequate.
You're so kind.
We see the door to the private captain's dining area open, and Luke comes out. Luke is really young to be a station captain. He's got a nice dad bod, friendly face, and he's really much beloved here on the station. And everybody kind of hushes as he approaches, and he comes up to kind of the little series of steps that lead to the serving area where you would go up to get your meal, then to bring it back down to the main dining area. And everybody instinctively just gets quiet. All right, let's get right to it. First off, I want to thank every single one of you for your patience and professionalism these past few days. I know the strange malfunctions, the flickering lights and the door glitches and that unsettling wobble in the gravity hasn't exactly made work easy. But boy, every single one of you have handled it the best way a crew could. Damn it, you're the best crew in the galaxy, and I'm proud to be your captain. And I gotta tell you, we've got some of the best minds on the station working on this, and we've learned a lot. These so-called data ghosts, we now know that surrounding them and closing in on them forces them to dissipate. They're not a threat. They just need to be contained. And if you can corner them, we've seen it over and over again. They just kind of vanish. And you know, we're seeing fewer and fewer of them. One by one, they're causing, like, they seem to be going away, and we don't know exactly why. I just want to pause for a moment, though, and before I continue, I'd like to recognize our 4 newest crew members. If you could stand up for me, Bex, Eeyore, Robles, Dr. Brundle. There's kind of a Paul stays seated. As it subsides, the 4 of you sit back down. Okay. So our scientists are working around the clock to figure this out. They're going to try to understand what these things are, and I'll share their findings with everybody as soon as we have something definitive. But for now, we know what works to dissipate and destroy them. And Paul is going to assign a team to finish off that last ghost. I think we've only got 1 left that's been showing up on the sensors. Now, you heard me right. There's only 1 left. And then we're going to get past this mess. And you see kind of Luke glance at Paul at your table. And Paul just kind of gives him a nod. Look, I know this has been weird. I know it's been unnerving. Hell, I won't pretend it hasn't been frustrating. But through all of it, you've kept the station running. You've kept things going forward. The research here is important. You've continued. And I think we have an opportunity here to extend some contracts. So everybody eat up. We've got 2 extra desserts available tonight to kind of celebrate when the team dissipates the ghost. And I think it's going to be a brand new day. Any kind of starts to walk away, and some crew members are always up there patting him on the back, and he's shaking hands almost like a politician. So Paul goes, "You know what this means, right?"
I mean, dessert as a concept is wild, but 2?
No, Bex. Everybody's been pitching in, getting rid of these goddamn ghosts. And the 4 of you are new. You haven't had an opportunity to do it yet. So I just need you to be on call. So if this last one shows up, I just want the 4 of you to go there. And like Luke said, you just have to corner it. Just get it to where it doesn't have an escape route, and then the damn things just disappear. What questions do you have?
Do they seem to manifest in a specific location?
Man, we've been trying to figure that out, Robles. We really have. And no, to answer your question, the only thing that we have figured out is, like how the doors have been a little bit weird and sometimes the gravity is a little funky. We think it's tied to the ghosts. And what we don't know is whether like the station's malfunctioning and generating these things, or these things are causing that to happen. But we notice that when we dissipate the ghost, when we corner the ghost, it just kind of stops and everything starts working again.
Do I need a tool for this, or do they sense biometrics?
It's the damnedest thing. So we have tried everything, Bex. We've had tried to like get readings off of them. Nothing. If you didn't visually see these things, they don't show up in any other way. They don't show up on any type of sensors or anything. The only way we find them is when they're just by sight and people seeing them. And we've tried to touch them. We've tried to capture them. And as soon as you get close, they just kind of disappear.
Can you see them in the dark?
You know what? I don't think we've tested that yet, Bax, to be honest with you. Of course, we keep the lights on, except in private quarters when it's your time to cycle down. But that's a pretty damn good question. Brundle, has any of the scientists on your lab said anything about seeing them in the dark?
No, I don't think anyone's tested that parameter.
So anyway, nothing special. All you got to do is and then he gets a beep, and he brings up his wrist communicator. Well, shit, look at that. He goes, looks like we got a sighting. Near your section there, Bex. Can the 4 of you run up to floor 1? It looks like it's in shuttle prep. And yeah, it looks like the Robbies are going to kind of keep the door kind of secure so it doesn't get out. If you guys can just go and take care of it.
Yes, sir.
On it.
He stands up and he walks away.
Shall we?
I start running towards the area.
I don't think what I'm doing really could ever be classified as a run.
Okay.
Dr. Brendel is
fast gambling.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think Seth is momentarily overtaken with anxiety as now he's going to miss the appointment, but he sends off a quick message to Dr. Emma. So.
And you get back a big thumb emoji back.
I didn't forget.
The text comes through, proud of you for telling me ahead of time.
Eeyore's going to head to the nearest staircase because Eeyore does not want to use the elevator.
They've been kind of funky lately, so that's smart. Yeah, and we've got a spiral staircases that go all through all 3 floors. So yeah. Going together, are we following Eeyore? What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm following Eeyore, but not nearly as quickly.
Okay. How about you, Sergeant?
I've already run off to the staircase, and I assume Ben is right on my heels.
So let's cut to just outside the shuttle prep area. Everything's beautifully well lit. no type of malfunctions or anything on your way here. Nothing glitchy whatsoever. The doors opened when they were supposed to open. There's a man and a woman, 2 Robbies, standing at the front of the door. They kind of stiffen up as soon as they see Sergeant.
At ease.
They kind of release a little bit. Yep, Sarge, it was in there, and as soon as we saw it, we closed the door just like we're supposed to. I assume it's still in there.
How big is it?
I don't know. Steve, Steve is like, I don't know, like maybe a little bit taller than me. But like it changes, right? Like it's like smoke, but then it glitches. I don't know. It's like, now I get why they call them data ghosts.
Okay, I understand. So I'm going to slowly approach the door, but wait until my teammates catch up with me.
And they do.
Okay. I look at my teammates and I say, all right, guys, are you guys ready to contain this ghost?
I'm interested in seeing what it actually looks like at this point.
Me too. Should we turn the lights off? See if we can see it.
It's an interesting opportunity to test that parameter, Doctor.
Yes, Dr. Brundle's staring at his bioscanner, looking for readings in the next room.
Yeah, looking at the bioscanner, Dr. Brundle, it's empty. So you're getting no biosigns whatsoever on the other side of that door. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Robles.
And Robles starts to say in a very stern voice, our objective was not to study this. Our objective was to contain this.
But we could play some, if we can see it in the dark, we can contain it in the dark. Fine. Do it. Gesturing to open the door.
And the Robbie, as soon as the Robbie sees Beck's motion to open the door, he immediately looks for permission from the sergeant.
I nod.
So he puts in the code. The door flies open. And Bex, you've been here before. Eeyore may have been here, but I don't think Dr. Brundle nor the sergeant would have had any reason to be in shuttle prep. But this is basically a huge storage area where the different scientific equipment is stored and then loaded onto the shuttles when they go out and they start studying the gas giant, bringing samples back. So imagine just crates, these rounded cornered crates stacked all over the place. The room itself is, I don't know, the size of a large living room maybe. And I'm going to assume Sarge was first. So Robles, as you walk in, the air seems different. Instead of that really sterile but comfortable and comforting air that you get everywhere on the station, there's almost for just a brief second like a smell. And all 4 of you pick up on this, and it comes then goes, and it smells like old is the only word that comes to mind when you smell, and then it's gone, and then it just smells like the station. And you see this thing in the corner by the viewport that looks out over the shuttle bay where you just were, Bex, working on the shuttle. And it looks like somebody took a bottle with food coloring and shook it up. And it just is kind of floating in the corner. And the Robbie was right. It's about maybe just shy of 6 foot tall. But what's strange is it's got kind of this liquid flowing motion to it. And then it'll go and just give this weird digital glitch. And then move. It doesn't seem to be reacting to the fact that you're at the door.
Robles turns to Ben and says, I get on one side, you get it on the other. Igor, I think you should join us as well. We will try to surround the thing and see if it cannot be contained that way.
I will make myself as large and imposing as possible.
And you're saying Ben? Do you mean Bex?
No, Ben, my little dog that's not dog, but the private that's got me on the
Sidekick.
Gotcha. Okay, good.
Sidekick,
Good.
yeah.
All right, I'm with you. Perfect. Eeyore, you kind of go to the left a little bit. Sarge, you kind of go to the right. Bex and Brundle and Ben kind of come in there. And it starts to float towards you, Eeyore. Slowly.
Does it feel like technology to me?
Ooh, that's an interesting question, isn't it? I like that question. I think it's a long overdue for us to do a roll, like we're actually playing a game. So can you give me a quick intellect roll?
Okay.
What is your intellect, by the way?
61.
61. This is a D100 system. So what Eeyore is trying to do is roll 61 or lower. Doubles on a success or a critical success. Doubles on a failure or a critical failure. What about skills? Are there any of your skills that could potentially boost that?
I do have a skill in computers,
Don't think that's going to help you here.
but I don't think. Let's see. Mathematics, because I think I'm trying to see if there is. If I recognize any coding to this, like, is it?
All right. You know what? With that perspective, you could use either one. So whatever one would help you more, go ahead and
use the same.
Okay. So when you click on intellect, it's going to give you the option to add a skill. Go ahead and add that skill, and let's give it a roll.
Let's go.
59, a success. Eeyore, you look at it. So it's patterned, which initially makes you think code and technology, right? And you're starting to pick up on those patterns. It seems to loop a little bit here and there, but the way it adjusts, for some reason, it feels biological at the same time. That somehow, if it is technology, it's got to be pretty advanced because it's either trying to hide itself, or if it's biological, maybe it's trying to hide itself as technology.
Oh God, why did I skip gym class?
Are we sure that we need to dissipate this? Because it's quite fascinating. I think it would be interesting to study more.
Since I've been given no direct order, I'm gonna sidle over to Eeyore and just make sure the thing doesn't get too close.
So Bex,
But I'm really interested in it.
as you kind of cross the room, right, kind of catty corner to get to where Eeyore is, this thing reacts. And it almost pulls away at your motion. So as you start approaching Eeyore, which is what this thing was doing, was approaching her, it almost recognizes the fact that you have now entered the same space as Eeyore, and you see it kind of pulling back towards a corner.
I'm gonna take a couple steps back to see if there's any change.
It stops retreating.
Is this thing dancing with me?
Who's closer to the door? Is it Robles or Brundle?
I don't think Dr. Brundle's moved. He's just like visually recording everything. So probably me.
When Beck stops moving, This thing stops moving. Then it starts to head, what you think it starts to head towards you, Brundle, at first, but then you realize its trajectory is definitely, it's definitely trying to go to the door, and it's slow, measured movements. It's not threatening in any way, but it is now approaching you via trying to get to the door.
Well, friend, what are you doing? Do you want to get past me? I'm going to shuffle a little bit, but not completely out of the way, and just see if it will approach me or take a berth around.
So are you getting closer to blocking the door or farther from blocking the door?
I think I'm moving, like I'm shifting parallel. So I am unblocking the door, I guess.
Yep.
Oh.
As you move away from its direct path to the door, becoming less less in the way, we see it start to move faster. You pick up on that immediately, Sarge. But it's not like zipping, right? This thing is moving like it's floating in water, almost. And but it is definitely moving faster towards the door.
I tell the Robbies very calmly, I need you to shut that door immediately.
Yes, sir. The door shuts. It stops.
Okay, people, we need to contain this. We need to get into a semicircle around this mist and try to contain it as much as we possibly can.
The lights start to flicker in the room.
Maybe we will get to see if it glows in the dark.
What if we follow it back to where it's going? We might learn more about it rather than just simply dissipating it.
It may actually be more helpful to study it, especially if it is not the reason that the other issues on the ship are happening. It could just be a symptom itself. Come on, Sergeant.
Dr. Brundle will keep kind of talking in a friendly manner to the mist.
Have we considered getting sheepdogs for this kind of thing?
Sheepdogs do move in an organized pattern. They would be very helpful in a situation like this.
As all this conversation is happening, it's kind of floating, and it's edging closer and closer to the door, and I don't know why, but you get a feeling like it's testing if it can get to the door without any of the four of you doing something. So you can see it kind of slowly float, and then it stops, and then it moves a little bit closer to this closed door, and it stops. And there's something very unreal about this thing.
If it is biological, it should not be able to move through the door.
Wonder if it... I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna jump like as far forward close to it as I can without jumping.
You jump and you see the fastest movement yet. So as you kind of do a jump scare and jump towards it, the only way to describe it is that it flinches, right? You see the entire mass, the swirling cloud just kind of pull back, and it's now starting to retreat towards one of the walls. So your action, your fast action definitely had an effect. And now it's floating back, and you get the impression, the four of you get the impression that it's trying to now negotiate towards the wall in a way that it's keeping everybody equidistant. So it doesn't want to approach any of you.
I think it's scared of us.
Aw, hey, sorry, little guy. You're good, you red floating Whatever you are. I didn't mean to scare you. I just wanted to see if you do something.
It stops for a second while you're talking to it, then continues when you stop talking, continuing its retreat towards the wall.
Hmm.
It is now moving towards the wall. Why are you talking to this thing? We need it to dissipate. We need to contain it. Why are you talking to it? We have our orders from the captain.
I don't remember the captain saying anything about talking to it. Under my breath.
Inexplicably, the door to the room opens up maybe about 7 inches and then stops.
I'll jump.
You're going to jump at it, Brundle?
It just startles me. And
okay.
I'll move away in surprise. I move away from the door in surprise.
Yeah.
Do you understand us? Glitch once for yes.
Again, talking to it stops the movement. You don't get a glitch once for yes. But again, when the silence comes back, when nobody's talking, it's now trying to move towards the glitching door, not towards the wall.
It appears if we keep talking, it ceases its trek towards the door. So I suppose in order to contain it, we could continue to conversate as we surround it.
What kind of questions are you guys going to ask a mist?
It seems to not matter what we're saying. If we do that, then maybe we can split the difference and approach it and contain it while talking to it and keeping it from running away.
That sounds reasonable to me.
We could approach it from all directions. Now that it's moved away from the wall towards the door again, Eeyore's kind of going to slip around wide berth to the wall side so that it can't go back up against the wall.
I mean, guys, I kind of feel bad dissipating it. Look how cute it is.
I'm not sure if this meets the definition of cute that I have. But it is interesting.
Have people said the same thing about you? Because I think you're cute and interesting.
Thank you.
Job at hand, people. Job at hand.
Starting to move towards this glitched door.
Dr. Brundle will talk, but actually talk to all you. It's like, so does anybody know why the door opened?
That is an interesting question.
You could ask the Robbie.
Is he in here with us?
Ben is in there, but the Robbies that were guarding the door are outside. Ben's kind of like, oh.
Robbies, can you hear us from out there?
Yeah.
Did you open the door?
Oh shit. No. No, didn't even know. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. You hear this beep 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 beep. Damn it! It's not. Sarge, we're trying. But it ain't closing. Shit. Do we call Paul?
Override panel is right there.
Oh. Okay. You hear kind of a and go. I don't know how the hell this thing works. Kind of talking under their breath to each other. I don't know. Do we use our badge? And you hear him like slapping a badge against it, but nothing's happening.
Just Beck's taking a moment of inner calm. Also, like, the thought of hurting has become very physical for me, so it's like... Are we circling it? Are we backing up?
What's happening here? Give me a sense of physicality. Because it sounds like the four of you have surrounded this thing. I know that Eeyore moved to the wall where it was coming from. Brundle, you're near the door, but I don't know if you're blocking its access to the door.
No. But kind of talking and walking forwards. Like, in my mind, the plan is that we're all talking and walking and kind of surrounding it.
Yeah,
Not that that's what is happening, but that's what he's doing.
Gotcha. And are you guys following Brundle's lead here, kind of closing the circle?
Yes.
Slow steps forward.
As you start getting closer, it seems to be trying to negotiate space, trying to keep each of you equally distant from itself. So if when Dr. Brundle moves a little faster, it pulls away from Brundle a little bit faster towards the two of you on the other side. As Bex is trying to be as large as they can be, it's reacting to that. And you're now almost to the point where you could touch fingers with each other, right? You could almost form a complete circle around this thing. And it drifts within arm's reach of Eeyore.
I do not like that.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of try to edge Eeyore out a little bit.
As you get closer, right before you move into Eeyore's space like you did before, it almost gets pushed away from Eeyore. Though Eeyore, you didn't do anything, right? There's nothing physical. It just falls back from it, and it kind of goes into Sergeant Robles. And Sergeant, it's right there in front of you. And a couple things happen all at once. All of you can see this. It begins to collapse. And it gets smaller, and it starts going down, shrinking in out of itself. That smell for a half second comes back. All of you pick up on it. I don't know if it's real or not, but then you can smell the station again. It's starting to dissipate and get smaller. Eeyore, Bex, Brundle, you're watching this happening right in front of the sergeant. Sergeant, you feel nauseous.
I try not to show it, but
Can you give me a quick body save? What's your body?
body.
Should be up there with your stats. Got it?
Oh, I gotcha. Body is 34.
Okay, so this is going to be a body save. You're going to, just like with your stats, you're going to try to roll a 34 or lower on a D100. So if you click on body, it should allow you to do your save.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Okay.
Just a
Just ask
standard
me if I
roll.
want- Do not add a skill to this roll.
You do not. We won't add skills to body saves.
Right.
So this nausea, it's like lunch kind of flips over in your stomach a little bit. And then it goes away almost as fast as it appeared. You felt a little bile kind of bubble up a little bit, but it stopped. And as soon as that feeling goes away, where suddenly your stomach settles, it goes away. It's gone.
Dr. Brundle was coming in with his sample collection kit.
Good job, everybody. We've done what we were meant to do. This is evidently the last one that has been identified. Good work.
Are you all right, Sergeant? You look a little peaked. Can you
I'm
describe how you
fine.
felt?
That was nothing. 2 desserts is too many.
So one of the Robbies outside says, everything all right in there? And then push, they get the door to open. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. How you doing, kiddo? I'm gonna turn to Eeyore.
I am perplexed. It appeared technological, but also biological. Unsure which, actually, but
Did everyone smell that odor? And Eeyore, do you have any olfactory processing modules that could analyze it?
I may need to look into whether or not I need an upgrade for that, actually. I could try to see if there could be some processing here. Hold on.
Well, question for you, EY. Do you keep like a log, a sensory log that you're able to access?
Yes, I would think so, because Eeyore is very interested in like what makes people tick. And part of that is their sensory.
If you want to access that, I've got information for you.
Okay. Eeyore's eyes are gonna very unsettlingly roll inside their head. Sorry. Just
Your visual sensors have a full log. You go through your auditory sensors, there's a full log. You roughly have a decent idea of how many seconds ago was the last time you had that smell. And there is a gap in your smell sensor log. And it's about a half second. And it lines up. For the other 3 of you, if you try to describe that smell to someone else, you just can't find the words.
Mm-hmm.
So when Brundle said, "Did you smell that?" You're like, you knew exactly what he was talking about. But if any of you tried to describe it, you couldn't.
Eeyore's eyes come back. There is a 0.5 second gap in my auditory processing log. I understand that is where that scent should be, but the data is not there.
What do you mean the data is not there?
I cannot process what the smell could have been. It's as if it was erased. Maybe if one of you could describe it to me, I could fill in that blank.
Fascinating. If my understanding of your model is correct, that means you don't have a proper comparable in your data set. So it's almost like something that we haven't experienced before existing.
Like almost it couldn't log it. That's interesting.
We could do a data systems check if you want. I mean, I'm not the programming, but make sure nothing's clunking around in there.
It may be helpful for me to go and download for a little while today.
You get a little bit of a haptic vibration from your communicator on your wrist, Sergeant. And you look down, and there's a text from Luke. Update, ?
Is this watch voice controlled? Like, I
Sure.
would expect it to be. Okay. I will inform everybody. Just heard from the captain. He wants a status update. And I look down at my watch and say, Captain, we have successfully mitigated the last mist.
Takes a little bit, no response, and then comes back with a big thumbs up emoji. And then you can see the 3 dots as Luke is either dictating or typing, and it comes up and goes, "Great job. Come to my quarters."
What do you
Will
say?
do. Do you want my team to come to your quarters or just me?
A couple seconds come by and he goes, "All 4 of you, I've got a great surprise."
On our way.
Maybe it is third dessert.
So the captain's quarters is up on floor 2 habitation, and the 4 of you start heading there. Let's take a quick 10-minute break, and we'll be back and see what Luke has as a surprise. We'll be right back. So the 4 of you work your way to floor 2, to the habitation area, and the captain's quarters is kind of in the corner of the station on the 2nd floor. As expected, Sergeant, there's a Robbie there, a young woman, kind of leaning up against the wall. She's got her arms crossed, but boy, oh boy, as soon as you turn the corner in that hallway, she gets straight as an arrow and stands right up like there's a stick up her butt. Sorry, sir. Yeah, hi.
At ease.
Shoulders just drop immediately. Captain says that the 4 of you are going to be here, and she puts her key card up on the door, and it opens.
Oh yeah, at ease.
I guess we start walking in.
So as the 4 of you walk in, I'm pretty sure none of you have been here before. Not a whole lot of people get invited to Luke's quarters. He is very, very friendly, always out in the station, always mingling around. But this has always been kind of considered his spot, right? Where he can finally get away from everybody, not be in the spotlight, not, shaking hands and patting people on the back and giving thumbs ups left and right. So when you come in here, there's something really warm about this room. It feels lived in. You can see his desk off to the far left. You can see his sleeping bed off to your right. His behind his desk, he's just got just a floor to ceiling framed awards for accommodations and, based on profitability, crew surveys, just award after award after award. And he's got his back to you. He's behind what looks like to be like a little mini bar. It's got bottles behind it. It's maybe about 3 foot worth of actual bar space. There's a single stool in front of it, and he's on the other side of it, and he's putting 4, 5 glasses out there, and he goes, "Come on in."
Thank you, sir.
Door closes behind you. He goes, "So tell me, how'd it go?"
It vanished. Making myself comfortable at the bar, lounging against it.
So can you give me some more details? Like when you say it vanished, I'm trying to gather as much information as we can. Like, what does that mean?
Well, Dr. Brundle can begin to recite minute by minute what happened until someone interrupts or he finishes.
What are some key details we're going to share with Luke?
definitely reacted to voice as well.
When you
as
say
to-
reacted, Brundle, what do you mean reacted?
it seemed to be less mobile or avoidant if we were also talking to it. It still avoided us as we walked towards it, but it didn't flee, as if that makes sense.
Did it ever feel aggressive?
I didn't sense that. It sensed like
scared.
Didn't seem scared of you though, E.
I do question if it is in fact biological matter or some sort of technological anomaly.
Did it take any type of shape? Like, could you get a sense of what you were near?
No, nothing. No scans of mine were able to definitively pin it as anything.
Did it try to get away?
it seemed it was attempting to.
It didn't like us getting in its space.
Huh. And did one of you dissipate it? Did you do it as a group? What happened?
We surrounded it and closed ranks.
But it chilled in front of Sarge here.
It did stand in front of me, or seemed to stand in front of me before it dissipated.
What do you mean by stand? Do you think, like, that's an interesting choice of words.
It manifested itself in front of me.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And when it dissipated, did it just vanish or?
More condensed? Collapsed?
Oh, that's interesting.
And when it did, there was a smell.
I'm sorry, what?
There was a smell when it disappeared.
What do you mean a smell? Who smelled it?
I did.
We all
I
did.
think all of us.
Except E has no record.
Okay, wait a second. So, how long did you smell this thing? And what did it smell like? I don't understand.
My auditory logs have a gap of 0.5 seconds. I believe that may be the length of the scent, but unfortunately no data is retrievable at this time.
Huh. Well, hell, it's gone. I guess that's all that really matters. Look, I have deposited 400 credits on your accounts. Kind of looks at you, Bex, and he goes, and it can be used for the gambling. And he turns back and looks at everybody else. Sit down, and he kind of gestures to the, the several different like little lounge chairs that he has in the center of the room. He goes, I do want to talk about one more thing, if that's all right. But damn great job.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Sit. And he kind of looks at the door, and looks back at you guys, and he says, and what I'm telling you is not, the 400 credits are deposited. I'm not telling you this is like any type of contingency or anything. So don't misunderstand me. But I haven't been telling everybody the whole truth. And there's 2 more of these damn things. And they're different. As soon as we see them, they're gone. Every time that we've tried to surround these things, they have escaped. And it's not clear how and what they're doing. And I just want everybody to have to enjoy themselves here. The last thing I need to happen is for this to start creating a panic. So I really love this to be between us, but I think these last 2 are smart. And I don't know how to explain that, but and he kind of pauses, and you can see him searching for the right words. He looks at the door again and looks back at you, and he goes, I think it's these two that's causing these glitches and causing the gravity and the sensors to go off. And they look just like the other data ghosts, but they're different. And is there any chance I can just, on the down low, have the four of you figure this out?
I would be interested in scanning these other two to see if I can find any differences between the one we encountered previously.
Does this include any bonuses, either financial or food related?
I don't know. What do you think about assistant engineer?
I think that could be a fitting title for some of my...
Paul keeps telling me how good a job you're doing, and I think it could be potentially long overdue. And this would really show me. And again, I want to emphasize, we can't let this get out. I don't want people to be afraid, because we're a small crew here, and if we get panicked, people do stupid shit when they get panicked. And don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything to be panicked about. It's just these things look the same, but we just can't. We can't figure it out. We can't figure out why. We can dissipate all these other ones. There's been about 8 of them now that are gone. You got the 8th one, and there's just these 2 that. And at one point we thought it was just one of them, but then we saw the 2 of them together at one point. What do you think? Working directly under Paul Bex, do you think that's something that would be a fitting accommodation for helping me out here?
I have this large grin I'm very poorly trying to disguise.
How about you, Brundle? I mean, Crow's getting old. I think his contract's about up here in about a month or 2. You seem to be pretty loved at the lab.
That definitely surprises him. I've been here such a short time. I mean, certainly I think I've made myself indispensable. And if Dr. Crow is choosing to leave, this is a fantastic base, and that I haven't seen a research center like the one you have. So,
and he gives you kind of this. He walks over to you and kind of gives you this. You know those people that are like a little overly friendly, like even if you don't mind like physical contact, he kind of comes over and kind of squeezes your shoulder and gives you, "That's right, buddy." Kind of doesn't say anything, but just kind of gives you that feeling. It's just a little too much.
Mm-hmm. I will. Is Dr. Crow informed about about these 2 entities? No. Literally, there's 5 people that now know about these things. I have been passing them off to the crew that have cited them as just regular data ghosts. So I'm the only one that's been able to gather this data. Oh, that's not true. Paul's aware of it too. He's been doing most of the work gathering the data. I don't get a sense that Paul really understands how different these things are. So at this point, honestly, I think you guys know more than even Paul does. But Paul's aware that there's 2 more left. And these 2 look different from each other?
Nope.
Oh,
all these damn things look the same.
So you've seen at most 2 of them gathered at once.
It's the only time we've seen 2 of them gathered at once. And he kind of looks at you, Sergeant, and he goes, "Robles, we need someone to lead this thing."
Sir, yes, sir. I do have a question for you, sir.
Hit me.
When these two myths were together, where was that located?
I want to say it was near the sensor room. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where it was near the sensor room, which honestly makes a little bit of sense, right? Because that would be the best place to cause glitches, right? If you could somehow affect anything, that's a bit of the nerve center of the station. I've only seen him there the one time. I was there just doing my normal rounds. I'm the only one that saw them together. I tried to dissipate them myself. I walked up to them and they slipped away. I don't know if they're able to go through walls or cracks, and they're different. How about you there, E? You up for this?
Well, I would enjoy being able to further study to see if these two are any different than the one we encountered, and maybe able to gain further data on whether or not they're biological.
So, report directly to me. Station is at your disposal. Anybody asks what you're doing, just say you're doing, I don't know, a survey for me, or you guys can come up with something if anybody asks. Kind of key that nobody knows about this, though, and we keep it to ourselves. How can I help? What can I do? How can I speed this up for you? So he's emphasizing with you, like, you're getting a sense from him like he doesn't give a shit. It seems like his only thing he's worried about is word getting out that there are still two ghosts left, and that they seem different, less easy than what he's been selling for the other ghosts. And he says to you, station's at your, whatever I can do. So hit me. What do you guys need to get this taken care of?
I could use go ahead.
We may need to discuss and regroup and come back to you with requests.
Hey, you know what? I gotta go down and meet with Paul anyway. This is probably the most secure place if you would just want to stay here, and then or go wherever you want, whatever you guys need.
Yeah, just free me up some time in the duty roster.
Done.
Dr. Brundle sending a message off to Dr. Emma saying that he will not be arriving for his physical for the next foreseeable future.
So the reply back is seriously ?
Captain's order.
No answer.
I feel bad about that.
All right, I'm going to go. You guys don't have to stay here. Let me know if you need something. Sarge, I've got you set up direct line on the comms, so you just let me know. But I think we got an understanding, right?
Sir, yes, sir.
Damn. You guys are the best. And he heads out.
I go and lock the door behind him.
Okay.
So do you think they're going to make money off of this? That's why we have to be so quiet? Because I say we negotiate for a chunk of any proceeds or patents or...
Profit may not be the ultimate goal if they are content with eradication of this. But if we are able to contain them, that is a logical.
All right, well, united, we have more power than apart. So as long as we're all on the same page there.
There was something. He was not telling us something.
I wanted to ask if you detected, if it's not against your ethical coding if you detected any higher levels of stress hormones in the captain when he changed his tune suddenly.
I don't think we need Eeyore for this. He's being cagey. And I think the four of you saw a side of Luke you'd never seen before. Luke has always been big smiles, patting people on the back. You're the best. No, you're the best. And it's the most serious you've seen him. And it was always when he was talking about keeping this quiet.
I don't trust leadership or ownership, so I know he's sus. We just have to make sure we come out better off than we came in.
Watch what you say about the captain.
He's a nice guy, but he's a little too nice, you know.
He certainly has more of a politician of him than in the field leader, Sarge. But I'm glad to have you with us. I think we might be hard to corral, but I feel like the different perspectives we all bring, we can crack this case, as it were.
So where do we want to start?
How do we keep this quiet if they are roaming the ship? What happens if somebody sees them?
We could use the excuse the captain was using, that they are just another one of the normal ones appeared.
Could we deploy Vonnie as a anomaly detection unit?
One way to find out.
Bex. I think
I mean, we could ask her. Bonnie!
See, hear a little bit of static.
Look at the four of you in the captain's quarters. Damn, that's amazing.
Yep.
What can I do?
Have you been able to see these data ghosts?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The red misty things, like the one we saw earlier today.
We talking about smoke machines at karaoke night? Yeah, I've got them all set up. We're good to go for tonight.
I mean, that does sound fun.
So you're gonna be there?
You know I never miss karaoke night.
Are you gonna sing Journey and John?
Oh.
Super duper. What do you need?
So you have no recollection of the red floating mist sort of anomalies?
She's kind of hot. Don't worry, you know what you're talking about. What's your
Hey,
favorite
Bonnie,
song?
Just, when was the last time you had a memory purge or anybody deleted a file?
Don't know what you're talking about. Who wants to sing? We can do karaoke right now.
No, we have to wait till karaoke time. It builds the anticipation.
Okey dokey.
All right, bye, Bonnie.
And it's not clear where these cameras are, where these projections are, but she just vanishes with that kind of a little static sound.
I don't think she will be much help to us.
Except at karaoke night.
I did agree to go to that.
Oh, yeah. We're doing a duet.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess we start at the place they were last sighted.
We could try to see if our original gathering around it and then talking while pressing forward is able to trap it in a way where it can't escape.
So sounds like we're going to sensor control. Up on floor 3.
I'd also be interested to see if any of the video logs have record of this.
Interesting. And probably the best place for that would be sensor control. So sensor control, just to give you an idea, kind of the hub, the data hub of the entire station. So the lab is where all of the research is happening, you know, state-of-the-art equipment, but kind of the center CPU area is sensor control. So it's going to have all the recordings, all of the sensor logs, everything.
Let's go. And I'm gonna finish the drink that the captain poured.
So you guys go up to floor 3, and winding through the hallways, you get to sensor control. 2 women Robbies are out in front of it, and they stiffen right up as soon as they see Sarge.
At ease.
At ease. Mm-hmm.
We need to enter sensory control, please.
Sorry, Sarge. We got direct orders. Only Paul and Luke are allowed in.
Captain's
Oh.
orders.
We're actually on orders from Luke, so we're gonna get right in.
No offense, man, but we haven't heard that. Paul made it pretty clear this morning that only him and Luke are allowed in.
This morning?
Yes, sir. And I'm not trying to pull rank on you, but Paul made it pretty clear.
We may have to have a conversation with Paul to clear this up.
We could ring him if you want.
Or the cap. Just get him on the phone. Nobody has any idea what I mean by phone, but
What's the area code? Bex.
I like old tech.
I mean, yeah, you guys are welcome to call the captain. And like, again, so sorry, Sarge, but normally I would do exactly what you say.
I understand that, and I respect you for following orders, but I will call the captain now.
Yeah.
Of course.
At ease then.
So, and they kind of look at Bex and look back at Sarge. So you ring the captain, and immediately, hey there, Sarge, what's up?
We need access to the sensory room, please.
Oh, sensor control, of course, yeah. Sure, go ahead.
All right. You heard the captain. Let us in.
One of the one where Robbie goes, Captain, it's June. Paul said that only you and him were to be let in. Come on. Paul takes everything way too seriously. They have access. So yeah, whoever Paul said has access, add 4 more names to it. Okay, sir. They open up the sensor door. Gotta make the sound.
Thank you, Robbie June. Thank you, other Robbie.
So as you come into this place, definitely the first time any of the 4 of you have entered here. And in these last couple weeks, this place has been impressive. Up till now, any contracts that you have had, every ship that you were on was falling apart. Everything was just grimy and patched together. Nothing was new. And if they had something good here, whatever the assignment was bad there. There's more than a few times that you were on planet somewhere and really weren't sure that life support was going to stay in place every time you went to bed. Whereas this Mergen's Watch has been so different. And this room just reiterates that. Floor to ceiling, beautiful banks of computers and screens and keyboards, cameras showing all the public areas in the station, clicks and beeps. As soon as the four of you enter, the Robbies immediately close the door behind you. I'm sorry, go ahead, Bex.
I'm just gonna walk through and like run my fingers along all the clean surfaces.
And I want you to imagine like a series of stations, right? Almost like rows in a drugstore of just banks of computers with terminals on each one of them. And Bex, as you come around and running your fingers against the screens, you turn and see a ghost in the back corner, identical to the one you saw before.
Well, hey there, friend. Hey guys, look. It's a ghost.
Oh, good.
For those of you that follow, you see it.
Yeah, I immediately go back up behind Bex.
It's just there. Doesn't seem to be moving, changing location moving. It's still this swirl. And then, I don't know, like 15 seconds, it kind of glitches, giving you that data feel. Then it goes right back to this kind of like underwater food coloring thing.
I mean, you have to admit, it's kind of pretty.
I think that I would define this as beautiful. Does it feel the same as the other one?
Just tell me what you mean by that, because you didn't really feel anything before.
Right.
But if someone told you this is the same one you dissipated, you'd believe them.
Okay.
I'm gonna. I don't think
Nothing.
it smells weird.
No.
Do I feel any nausea from this one?
No.
Do you think we could talk it into, I don't know, hanging out in a jar?
Potentially. We may need to begin with approaching it.
Are the cameras, like, do we have view of this room on any?
You
of the
do
cameras?
not. No, all the cameras are just for the rest of the station. Hallways, public areas, none of the living quarters.
Dr. Brundle will move, just kind of peer along the rest of the stacks to see if there are others.
Walking through, you're not seeing anything, and this is, I mean, it's a good sized room, but it's not enormous. So and there's no other doors, Dr. Brundle. So it literally takes you 20 seconds to realize that this appears to be the only ghost.
Wonder if it eats. I pull this random bag of obviously pilfered food out of my pocket. You want some?
It starts to float towards you. It seems to be reacting to this.
Gonna put a single piece of snack, like.
Keeping it in your hand?
No, it's like.
Okay. As it starts to float towards Bex, slowly, evenly, the second one comes through the wall behind it, also moving towards Bex.
Use some advice here, guys.
I'm gonna walk up to stand next to Bex and see how that affects their movements.
Unlike with the other data ghost, as you know, we had a situation where we had a data ghost moving towards you, right, Eeyore, and then when Bex came into your space, it seemed to react. In this case, it does not. So unlike the other one, when you kind of get next to Bex, both of them are slowly continuing, and floating is the only word I can think of, just kind of slowly drifting, maybe is a better word, towards Bex's hand.
I'm sensing differences between these and the previous ghost.
Doesn't seem scared.
Maybe you should put the food on the ground and then we back away a little bit. See if it's the food or you that they're attracted to.
I mean, shouldn't they be attracted to me? But I'll put the food on the ground and take a little step.
Slight change. They seem to be drifting a little bit faster. If in any way you have changed your positioning to kind of differentiate, are they moving towards this bit of contraband food or towards you? It definitely seems to be the food.
Snacky. I relate.
The attraction to food lends me closer to believing they may be biological, which is a more interesting theory.
I mean, the food here is really good.
This is true.
They're about... Oh, go ahead.
We're in the sensor room. Can we sense anything here?
If someone wants to jump on a terminal and see if anything's being picked up, they can.
Sure. I'll jump onto one.
So you jump on, pull up the readings, trying to locate as these things are slowly drifting towards this food. You're getting 4 signatures inside the sensory room, 1 android, 3 humans, nothing else.
They're not registering at all in this room. Just the 4 of us.
Should we turn the light off?
Everything goes dark.
I think they heard you.
Are they visible?
Eeyore, in front of your face, text appears, floating in air. It says, "System has encountered an unexpected error, rebooting." Just typed in front of your face. Your head feels heavy.
E, what's going on?
You can't, this is just me and E. The 3 of you just have darkness.
Gotcha.
That's okay. Nobody can see anything except for E.
Which system is rebooting?
Everything smells different. Everything smells old. You smell oil. You smell grime. Sounds are different. Everything's dark. Your head is heavy.
I want to try and push through that heaviness because I feel like my head is actually physically starting to droop forward, and I want to try and push past that sense and sit back up straight in front of the computer.
You sit back up straight. Your hands instinctively go to your head, and now you know why it's dark. There's something covering your head, covering your eyes, and it's large.
Can I pull it off?
You can. In fact, it lifts right off. And you're looking at a VR headset that was on your head. In your left hand is somebody's arm. In your right hand is this VR set. The arm is not attached to somebody, though. It's been torn off. And the blood is still pumping out of what's left of the pulmonary system, evacuating. You look in front of you where the sergeant was, where Bex was, and where Dr. Brundle was. And it's confusing, but you realize they're still there. They're just on the ground. They have the exact same headsets over their heads that you had just taken off of yours. They're emaciated. Each of them is at least 30, 40 pounds lighter than when you just saw them.
All limbs accounted for?
All four of you are there. There's dried blood covering the three of them. They have some sort of IV bag attached to what's left of their uniforms that's running a line into their arms. One thing that's different is what was Sergeant Robles is eating a man at his neck, gorging herself. And that body's missing an arm. You should do a couple things for me real quick. I need you to take 4 damage.
Oof.
You are in low energy. You can tell that you have not replenished. And I don't know how you do that, whether you recharge, whether you consume food, I don't know. You can decide that. But whatever it is, you have not done that in a very long time. So you are running on low. So that's that 4 damage. I also need you to go ahead and change your stress from 2 to 6, from just the realization of what's happening here. And then I also need a sanity save. Go ahead and roll me a d6, please, by itself.
Okay.
Oh, that's all right. You got 2.
Oopsie.
We'll take the lowest of the 2. Add 2 to it.
Okay.
And now you should be able, I think if you click the your stress button, it'll give you the opportunity to do our first panic check. So let's talk mechanics real quick. So your stress continues to build and build as we play the game. Every time you fail a roll, you gain 1 stress. Circumstances like this, like watching one of your friends that you spent a couple weeks with eating another human being, can add stress. Also can trigger a panic. On a panic, what's going to happen is Eeyore is going to roll a d20. As long as she rolls over her current stress level, which is what?
7 now, since I failed.
As long as you roll over a 7, you're good. If you roll below a 7, though, you're going to panic.
Okay.
So very quickly, everybody take a look at your trauma responses. Is there anything on your traumas that will affect Eeyore's panic check?
Possibly.
Tell me.
Once per session, I may take advantage on a panic check.
Okay, you're not taking the panic check yet, but keep that in mind. You may be taking one soon. All right, let's do it. So if you click stress, I think you have the opportunity to do a panic check.
Yep, it says panic check. Okay. Click. There we go.
Very nice.
Ooh. Okay.
Your stress stays where it is. You don't lose it. but I do need to know what's happening right now. You are standing in the same room, but all the screens are turned off. Some of the screens are broken. No repairs have been done. This is the exact same room, but like the previous things I've been talking about, this is what you're used to, but even worse off. Dr. Brundle is crawling towards the body that Sergeant Robles is feeding off of, as is Bex, still with their helmets on. But Sergeant Robles is gorging herself on this person whose arm you hold.
Do I feel any desire to chomp at this arm in my hand?
So it's a good question. How does an EY0 recharge?
EY0 goes into a sort of a sleep mode.
Okay.
And it's more of like just a time being inactive.
So, but what's the energy source, right? Do you plug into something? Do you consume something?
I had plugging in
Okay.
energy.
So, no, you have no desire.
Okay.
There's like a milky liquid in each of these IV bags that are attached to your three friends, though, that are in their arms.
Sergeant, can you hear me?
No reaction.
Any of you? Bex? Doctor?
Brundle's reached the other arm and has started biting into its wrist.
Hello? I'm gonna wave the arm. If I try to pull Dr. Brundle off of the body, is there resistance?
That was an if, or you're going to try it?
I'm gonna try it.
So you walk over to Brundle, and Brundle is resisting. So if you grab onto him, he doesn't come with you immediately. I just need to know if you're going to force the issue.
I'm not gonna force the issue.
Bex has reached the left ankle of this person and has started feeding as well.
Other than the body around us, is there anyone else that I can see in the room?
You see a stun baton right by you, and you can see it winding down, which means it had gone off recently. Someone has used a stun baton recently, and it's right next to your leg. The other thing that you notice is something you didn't see moments ago when everything looked beautiful and wonderful. You can see an air vent up above in this sensor room, and you see blood that leads up to that air vent. But there's nobody else in here except this fresh snack and your three friends.
Is said snack wearing a uniform?
It is.
Do I recognize?
You do not. Does not look like anything you've ever seen before. It's like an overall, like a coverall. Looks to be a man. He also incredibly emaciated.
And the data ghosts are gone.
Oh God, yeah. Everything around you has changed. No data ghosts. Everything is structurally the same, but in gross disrepair.
I'd like to try to take off Bex's VR goggles.
You walk over to Bex. You take her goggles and you lift them. Bex, I need a sanity save. What's your sanity?
25.
Okay. So your stress automatically goes up by 1.
Okay.
Give me a quick D6. Go ahead and add another stress for me, please. And before I tell you what happens, I do need a panic check. But you, once per session, get to do that on advantage, which is good. We'll take the higher of the 2 you roll. And it should give you that option when you click on stress to do it at advantage. I was scared for a second when I saw those numbers.
Yeah.
Let's describe what happens to you, Bex. Bex, you're seeing these ghosts float towards the food. And then suddenly, your eyes don't have times to adjust. And you have both of your hands around an ankle. And you pull away, and you can feel the wetness dripping down your chin. And you can feel flesh, and you instinctively know to spit it out, and you do. And you look around, and everything's the same, but not the same. Sergeant is chewing on the neck of the person that you were holding the ankle. Brundle is now severed the hand completely and is now working on sucking the meat out of the arm. And you look up and you can see Eeyore holding one of these headsets.
Bex?
Eeyore? What the fuck is happening? Going to gently set the ankle down and like... Was I eating this guy?
It appears so. I'm gonna put the arm down finally.
Okay.
The whole time just has been holding it up. We need to get the headsets off of the doctor and the sergeant as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I'll get right on that. And I'm gonna, like, get up, but real shaky.
And you feel weak, Bex. You look at your hands, and you're just thin. And you look down at your uniform, and it is not what you were wearing a second ago. It's a different color. It's got an insignia on it that you're not familiar with. But you can tell, like, it's ill-fitting. It's way too big for you, or at least big for you what you were a moment ago. As you stand up, you feel weak. You look at your left arm, and you see this milky liquid being pumped into your inside of your forearm, and there's this IV sac that's attached to your shoulder.
I'm gonna kind of just, like, shake, like, I don't want to touch it, but it's on me.
You can tell it's like Velcroed to your shoulder.
Oh, and then, yeah, the headsets, but this and also the head. Yeah, you,
Are you okay?
Let's see what the Sarge and the doc have to say. And I'm gonna unceremoniously just try to rip it off our doc.
Okay. And Eeyore, are you going for the Sarge?
Yep.
Similar scenario for both of you. You were standing there, Robles, ready to react if this data ghost got too close or if it stopped its normal pattern. And then all of a sudden, you feel a jerk on your head, and instinctively you kind of pull back on it, and you're holding a head that's almost severed off now at this point. Just parts of the spine are still holding it in your left hand, and you've got your hand gripped around the shoulder of it. Your mouth is full of flesh.
Oh God, why did I skip gym class?
So let's do a sanity save. Okay, that's going to automatically add 1 stress. Give me a d6 for additional stress. Okay, go ahead and add 6 stress. What is your stress right now?
That brings it up to 9.
Okay, go ahead and click on that stress and give me a panic check. Real quick though, does the android affect panic checks? Or I know the android affects something.
Fear checks.
Fear
Fear
checks, which we've
saves.
not done yet. Okay. So it's going to be a straight panic. We need higher than a 9.
Straight panic.
Yeah, if you click on stress, it should bring it up for you. There you go. Okay. You pull yourself away. What do you do?
Well, I hurl
Yeah.
just everything. It comes out of me. And I'm wiping my mouth. I am losing my mind. Now, I take it I've failed my panic roll.
No, you rolled over. You did well. You always
did
want to roll
well, okay.
higher on your panic. So you, for whatever reason, you're not going to lose it right now.
Okay.
Not real clear why, because I know I would have, but
Yes, it's the training.
but you're sitting on the ground. You've got the head of this person in your left hand. You're gripping onto the shoulder onto the right, and you can just see where you have been chomping through and almost beheading him as you've been feeding.
Do I recognize them at all?
You do not.
Okay, I look around and see Eeyore,
Mm-hmm.
see Bex. Everybody's bloody.
Everybody's covered, and to be clear, you, Bex, and Brundle have fresh blood all over your uniforms. Incidentally, all 4 of you are wearing the same colored uniform with the same kind of insignia on it. Nothing close to what you were wearing a few moments ago. There's also considerably drier blood on these uniforms that didn't come from this incident. You are seeing Dr. Brundle also having his VR headset taken off. We'll get to him in just a second, but that's what you see. Bex is maybe 30 pounds lighter than they were just a moment ago, as is Dr. Brundle. You look at Eeyore, and Eeyore looks basically the same, except her clothes are stained and old. She doesn't have blood up near her collar or on her face like Bex and Dr. Brundle do, and you assume you do as well. But she does have it on her hands. She's like elbow deep in blood. Some fresh, some old.
Bex, what's going on?
Quickly cut to Brundle's mask coming off. So same thing, Dr. Brundle. I need a sanity check first, or sanity save, sorry. A critical success, so no D6 here, and I don't need a panic check either. But you are staring at an ankle, and let's say that you don't have any flesh in your mouth, and maybe that's a differentiator here. But you can tell what you're holding. And now all 4 of you see the same thing. And you're all just staring at each other.
I like right now. What's going through Dr. Brundle's mind is that the captain spiked our drinks and has put us in a virtual reality. It's his coping mechanism. And so maybe when you say what's going on as I come out of that, I'll share my theory.
I don't know. You're the one in charge. What's going on, Sarge?
I'm not in charge of lab. What's going on, Doc?
The floor is slippery as you try to get up. It's just the blood makes it hard for you guys to get up to your feet.
Do the computers, do any of them look like they work still?
Not in the immediate area, though you do hear some clicking about 2 rows down.
Maybe we can get to a computer and call for assistance. I'm gonna head towards the clicking noise.
You turn the corner, and this is the only station that appears to have a chair in front of it. As you've been walking through these terminals, any chairs have been bent and broken except for this one. For no particular reason that's obvious, but the screen in front of it is not this beautiful, like LED gorgeous screen that was here in the sensor room. It's like an old CR with green text. The keyboard is not touchscreen. It's this clackety type keyboards.
Is there anybody sitting at it that was... Is the clicking sound still happening?
It is, and you look at the green screen, and there's kind of like this these like period symbols that keep just going across and refreshing once it gets from left to right.
I'm going to try to access the computer.
As soon as you touch a key, it would appear that it was in some sort of sleep mode, because it comes up. With the numbers 43, 22, and then seconds ticking down. And the green text above it says, full orbit degrade in 42 hours, 22 minutes, and 14, 13, 12, 11. Let's go to credits. All right. Like I mentioned at the very beginning, we all had X cards, and I was allowed to be probably a little bit gorier than I normally do on this channel, but it just kind of fits for what's going on. We'll do our standard thoughts, stars, and wishes, but I just need to get a sense of reactions. I'd love to know what's running through my players' heads. Who wants to tell me something?
Craig, how dare you scare me in the bright light of midday? That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Yeah.
start with and I don't think we've really engaged the system enough to really have thoughts about the system. So let's stay with stars and wishes. So, well, first of all, instead of thoughts, I want to know what Allie thinks is going on. And it's possible you have no idea. So
Definitely have no idea. I had said while we were off camera, oh, the picture from the front of the module. Ah, it makes sense now. I didn't realize I thought that was gonna be something we were encountering, not a mirror. I'm so intrigued by this idea. I mean, you definitely got a sense through the beginning and interacting with the different NPCs that you have for us that this is, something's not right. It's all too perfect. Like, we're kind of like waiting for the shoe to drop. Okay, what's it going to be? What's actually going on behind the scenes? But to completely have it be, I don't even know what it is, right? Like, we don't even know what it is yet. Allie doesn't know, but Allie can't wait to find out.
anybody else have ideas?
I'm wondering how deep this rabbit hole goes. But yeah, and for that to be a discovery we came across this early is very intriguing. So that's going to be really fun.
So, Gene, your first time on the channel.
Yes.
Welcome. And
Thank
I very much appreciate you joining us. Again, we continue our streak of having new people I've never played with on the channel who just do a phenomenal job. So my streak continues. What we'd like to do is thoughts, stars, and wishes. Let's focus on stars. So stars is where you get a chance to tell the table, like, this is what stuck with me. This is where it really worked, where I felt like I was not playing the game, but I was in the game. And that could be because of a certain player or a certain moment. And then wishes is what are you hoping for episode 2? So let's start with stars. When did this all click for you?
Well, it was good the entire time.
Okay.
I mean, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I was expecting you to go to credits at any moment, as you do on the cliffhangers. So I think the star was the twist there at the end.
Were you like Allie, where you were suspicious? Were things too perfect? Or before the twist, what was running through your mind as a player? Do you have a sense, Gene?
This is for me.
Yep.
Oh goodness.
So, as you were playing and I was painting this picture of perfection, what was kind of your feeling, or what were you sensing that Sergeant Robles was feeling?
Sergeant Robles was thinking nice digs. Never seen digs like this before. Must have lucked out on something.
So going into episode 2, what did you not get that you would like to see in episode 2, or what did you get in episode 1 you want more of?
I'm still getting familiar with the sheet. So that's a wish for myself, that I could get more comfortable with the character sheet. But otherwise, I think it's going well. I'm wishing for more gore.
there may be more gore. This where you are now is not where you were before. So, Rob, also new to the channel, but not the first time we've played together. Want to get a sense of your stars and wishes?
Yeah, I think everyone had great, just little character moments that really helped me envision each of the characters that we're playing. E's eyes rolling back, and to act just that little flare to access the data. And, Beck's contraband food, like just those little things tell so much. And the sergeant really keeping on point, even though none of us were really cooperating. And also just Vonnie, like but to keep looking, it's like Craig is actually saying those words. That's a great little modulator there, but the energy with which you delivered it, I thought that was all just all great little touches that brought so much of the flavor out.
I'm glad. Stars and wishes for you, DK. Welcome back.
Oh, why, thank you. Well, first of all, had a blast.
Good.
I'm really excited for this game to finally have started. My star is probably, I really enjoyed those little the scenes that we did at the beginning. I thought it was a really good opportunity to get just the basic flavor for everybody's character, and I think that was a pretty elegant way to do that. So I really liked that. My wish, I want to see more of the ship. I want to see more horror. I want to see more gore. You can't tell I'm a bit of an anatomy nerd, so I have some probably more vivid pictures in my head than most.
I bet you do. Firsthand.
But this concept of just like, oh, I'm chewing on an ankle now. That is going to stick with me for a minute.
All right. Last but not least, Miss Allie.
Star. I kept thinking, because I agree with everything everybody said. Right? It's hard to go less on these stars and wishes because it's like everybody already took the words out of your mouth. I'll say DK, the commitment to the Teamster mentality.
Loved it.
Absolutely loved all of that.
Talking about
I hate leadership,
organized labor.
As long as we're all a united front. That had
collective
me
bargaining.
dying so bad. I'm just having so much fun with this already. It's so good to be playing again with you as well, Craig. I've enjoyed every time that I've been able to get invited to come on one of these games. So I'm just my wish is to. I already know that every episode subsequently is going to be as fun, if not more fun than this. So I'm just looking forward to that.
And we have a timer. 43 hours.
We'll see what happens when that timer goes off.
Generally speaking, orbit decay in...
Yeah, I'll say we will be deorbited.
On terminal.
That's a word.
So this is a back-to-back weekend. Tomorrow we're doing something very, very special. We're doing Ghost Court, which is a LARP by Jason Morningstar, where we are in a world where there is a small claims court, much like People's Court, except it is a mixture of ghosts. It's where ghosts and people kind of settle their differences. What makes it a LARP, even though we're not doing it in person as you would typically do, is that when we start play, we are going to be in character the entire time. We are never going to jump out of character. I have appointed myself the judge. We have a clerk. We have a court reporter, just like People's Court. And we have 8 litigants who have very specific cases. We're going to have 7 cases. Every litigant is going to have an opportunity to be on both sides as a defendant and as not. And this is a game that you can buy from Bully Pulpit Games. It's an amazing game. It's a deck of cards. I've played it before, Camping for Gamers. And I don't know the last time I've laughed that hard when you set up with a group of friends a small claims court of ghosts and people, and the cards just give you so much to work with. So make sure you catch that tomorrow, and then follow on all the socials and everything so you can find out when episode 2 is. Thank you, guys.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.